Hey guys, welcome back. So I put it up for a vote which video you guys wanted to see today, and you chose a list of my top 10 favorite plants right now. And can I just say I'm so excited you chose this one. As you all know, I'm always out doing my thing, plant shopping, acquiring new plants, and I'm so glad that you chose this because I really wanted to share my favorite plants right now. And if you don't know me, clearly this is a channel for crazy plant people. If that is the kind of thing you are into, as I am, welcome. This is your planty tribe. If you don't want to miss a video, I do post about twice a week. Subscribe. That way it will show up in your newsfeed and you won't ever miss a crazy plant person video. And if you enjoy my YouTube channel, you'll probably love my Instagram account as well because I post on there every single day planty stuff. And as I go through each plant, I'm going to be sharing care tips that I've learned along the way, maybe some interesting planty facts. So these are not in any particular order either. I had a hard enough time narrowing it down to 10 favorites. But I will say this, for the first time ever, I have a favorite plant. Before I jump into it, there is one thing I want to mention. It's a little bit more on a serious note. This channel is about to reach 20,000 subscribers and I am beside myself. When I started this channel a year ago, I did it as an attempt to get to know other people in the plant community, and it has evolved from me, sharing a plant shopping video here and there into a community. And you guys have turned this channel into a plant community. I'm sorry, I'm trying to not get tearful, but it's a worldwide plant community. This channel isn't about me. It's about you. And I'm a facilitator. I just get the conversation started. That's what this channel is now. It's a plant community, and it's a positive plant community. And it makes me so happy. And when I see you guys chatting with each other in the comments and I leave a comment and we're all engaged and in it together, it just has brought so much joy to my life. And I'm doing everything I can on my end to, provide good content and make sure I'm posting regularly. I've had a couple companies reach out offering to sponsor, which will help me no end to continue to provide videos for you guys and stay regular and consistent with that. So I am so excited for this year, and that's what I'm really going to work towards, is fostering this plant community that we have going on. I think of you guys as my plant tribe, my plant community, and we're all there for each other. That's what we need right now, right? Is some positivity and planty love. So on that note, I'm going to jump in and share my favorite plants with you. Let's get started. So the first one I have to get started with is this philodendron. I've heard it pronounced billietiae, I've heard it pronounced billietiae. I'll obviously have the name of it here. I'm so incredibly in love with this plant. There's so many things that I love about it. First of all, it's been ridiculously easy care. It was one of my first expensive plants, and I was very nervous to get it. I wasn't sure how it would go, but it has been ridiculously easy care. I give it a good bit of light. I have it under a grow light, and one of the things I love about this baby is it's always putting out a new leaf. It was one of the plants that did the best during my move. Such a good baby. I love it. It was one of the ones that I sprayed with carpet cleaner. It did fine from that. It's never had a pest on it, knock on wood. It was right up next to one that got spider mites. Didn't have a single issue. So I'm just really appreciative of this plant. Had so many opportunities to give me a hard time, and I'm super attached to it. I love it so much. I would recommend it 10 out of 10. If you're wanting to invest in a more expensive plant and you're not really sure what to get, I really love this plant. This plant can get huge, the leaves can get really big. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do to encourage the leaf size to get larger. I'm a big fan of ruffles and ripples in leaves. I think it looks really cool. And as you can see here, this has that awesome texture to it. The leaf shape in and of itself to me is very desirable and so beautiful. How long it is, first of all, and then it has the cute little lobes or ears at the top, which gives it like a heart shape. I just think it's so beautiful. And then instead of just having, regular green stems, it has orange stems. Look how orangey and beautiful that those stems are. I have it in an aroid mix, so it does have, some chunky bits in there, like orchid bark mixture, some perlite mixed in because, like most philodendron, it does appreciate an airy soil that's not too moist all the time. I wait until the top few inches are pretty dry, and then I give it a good watering, and I bottom water it. If it's in super bright sun sunlight, the leaves can get sunburned, so it does enjoy like bright indirect light. But again, this is an easy care plant. You make a mistake, it's not, in my experience, it's not gonna like freak out on you. I mean, it'll show some stress and some damage, but it's not, you know, it's not gonna die right away, which, you know, some plants are like that. They can't handle any kind of drama. And this plant originates in countries like Costa Rica and Brazil. It is a tropical plant that enjoys humidity. I've had this in areas that don't have super high humidity and it does okay. So I wouldn't say the humidity has to be at, you know, 65 or 70% like I like to have it in here most times. Next up is my string of hearts. I am so in love with this plant. I have to say it's just been, ever since I got it, growing on me, growing on me, growing on me. And now I'm to the point where I just love it. It's won me over. It's one of my top 10 favorite plants. It's not super uncommon or rare, but I just cannot get enough of it. So a couple things to note about my experience with this plant is it grows like a freaking weed. Like it grows and grows and grows and grows. I mean, so fast. It feels like I water it and I leave and I come back the next day and it's grown 4 inches. I mean, the growth on this one is intense. So if you are looking for a fast grower, this is a great one to have. So I chopped off the bottoms a couple months ago and propagated it and replanted it into the soil. Took like a freaking charm. Roots grew like that, did great in the soil, and now I just had to chop off the whole bottom again, and I'm propagating that. I mean, it's only been a few days and they're already kind of starting. I can see the like fuzziness growing on the outside. Once these get going, I'll just stick it back in here, and then my goal is just to make this as thick as possible. It grows really fast. It propagates super easily, easy care, and like it's not super finicky. Now I do have a variegated string of hearts. I only have a couple little strands. I'm currently propagating it a little bit different propagation style than this. I'm propagating it in a prop box in sphagnum moss. And the thing I have found out with string of hearts is you do want to give it a good amount of light. I have this like right next to a window. I have the propagation under a grow light. If you want a lot of growth to come out of one of these, you got to give it enough light. How cute these little leaves are. Look how gorgeous and heart-shaped they are. I am obsessed with these. I love them. And you know what? It's a great plant to invest in because you can make so much more of it so easily. It's the plant that I enjoy propagating the most because I know it's gonna go well. This plant is native to Africa, Southern Asia, and Australia, and the person who discovered it in the 1700s thought it looked like a string of wax. My plants don't seem to flower very much for me, but this one has flowered quite a bit. And the flowers are really cute, like little lanterns. They're adorable. So yeah, this is definitely in my top 10 of my favorite plants. Next up is this beautiful alocasia black velvet. I love alocasia. I have to say it has not gone well for most of the alocasia that have been in my collection, but when it comes to the black velvet, I really don't care. I'm always gonna have one. I'm obsessed with it. I love this one so much. So it does have, as you can see, these 2 little spots here. Those have been on there forever. This is a super old leaf, but this leaf is the newest one that this plant has put out, and as you can see, it is so happy and incredibly beautiful. And you'll notice on some of my plants that they have these little what looks like dust or something on there. I recently treated all my plants with green lacewing larvae as a pest prevention. So that's what's going on, and it's going really well. I'm happy to answer any questions about that. My other one had thrips and died, and I got another one because I can't live without it. I know this is a favorite for a lot of planty people out there. I have to show you the back sides of the leaves because they're just as beautiful. They're purple. Look at the purple backside of the leaf. The stems are this like beautiful neon green, and you can see, like, look at the texture. The texture of the leaf is really stunning. It almost looks like a Maharani on the back side of it. So this has to be included. It's one of those plants that every single day, I'll go into his office and just take a look at it because it is so, so beautiful. So this plant usually lives on the forest floor, so I don't give it a ton of light, and it seems to be fine with that. It doesn't need a ton of light. The leaves will start to turn in. Usually that's when I give it a good watering and let it drink that up. And this one also puts out a lot of new growth. Both of the ones I've had have done really well with putting out a lot of new growth. So now this plant will not grow very tall. This is about as tall as it would get, maybe a little taller. They say they grow to about a foot. And for those of you in the Charlotte area that want to get one of these, I have been seeing them around at local nurseries. I got this one at Oakdale Greenhouse. They have some really healthy, lush ones like this. As with all alocasia, you want to keep an eye out for spider mites, thrips. You know, they are pest prone. It's totally worth it because who wouldn't want to have one of these absolute beauties in their collection? So next up is this beautiful philodendron, golden dragon, or lime fiddle. It goes by both names. I absolutely had to include this in this video because look how beautiful this leaf shape is. It's one of the things that like first drew me to this plant is how beautiful it is. To me, it almost looks like a dragon's face, you know, and it does have modeling on this plant, but that can come and go. It's an easy care plant. This one is in sphagnum moss. I will repot it once it is springtime, and hopefully it will put out some new growth. It looks like it has something here. It wants to, you know, make a new leaf eventually on that. Absolutely beautiful plant. It's one of my favorites. Just is so cool looking. That leaf shape is next level, and yeah, they can get really big, so I'm excited to repot this one and get it growing into a big plant. And it's been chill. It's one of these plants I brought it home and it's just been content. With all these plants, the care is very much the same. I kind of just let them all dry out, and then when they're dry, I give them a good soak. Next up is this syngonium chiapense. I love syngonium. I had never seen this plant before. I saw it at Cactus Club. I did not go there to buy this plant, but when I saw it, I knew I had to have it. The shape of the leaves are absolutely beautiful. They're just thick and gorgeous. And I have not had this plant very long, but when I got it, it had the 2 leaves. Since I got it, it's put out this beautiful one, and it looks like it has another one that is already starting on. Like a jungle syngonium, you know, like a huge one that you'd see in the jungle. And it has some aerial roots forming here. It's just an amazing plant. It's easy care like other syngoniums. I don't know why I haven't heard about it more, but I really love it. And to see it in person, I mean, look how huge this leaf is compared to the size of my head. Like, it's an amazing plant. So anthurium clarinervium had to be on my list today. I love this plant. It was my #1 wishlist plant for the longest time. Couldn't find them anywhere in Charlotte. Ordered this guy, came from Hawaii. And you know what? These plants are troopers. Like, more so than you would think. It got some sort of like bacterial type thing, and I sprayed it off with neem, and you can see this is where I like trimmed around the edges where it got some fungus because I didn't have enough air rotation and airflow going on in here before I would have the fan on all the time. But it's really easy. So it put this leaf out, then a leaf died, and then it put out this flower, which I'm collecting the pollen, so the next flower it puts out, I can pollinate and make some seeds. And I just love the way that the clarinerviums look. The shape of the leaf is absolutely beautiful. They're massive. I'm really hoping that, you know, in the springtime and this summer it will put out some new growth, because I've seen a lot of people have these plants where they have a lot more leaves than just 2. It's in an airy soil. The roots are like other anthurium where they're really tubular and white and thick and just awesome. I have it over near a humidifier so that it doesn't get too crispy. I just think this is a beautiful plant. Definitely one of my favorites. A lot of people that see my plants, this is, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, like I love that. So for those of you that are wondering, this is what an anthurium flower looks like. Now at first they start out as female and they're sticky, and that's when you can pollinate them and they'll make seeds. But then if they're not pollinated, they turn into male plants. And as you can see, this has like little yellow pollen on there, that means it's male, and you can collect that pollen, save it for the next flower, and when the next flower, you know, has its sticky substance during the female phase, you can, you know, take that pollen that you've stored maybe in the freezer and use it to pollinate the new flower when it's in its female form, and you can get seeds. And you know, anthurium seeds like this are kind of impossible to come by, so that's what I'm going to be doing actually. Right after this video, I'm going to collect that pollen. Next up is this philodendron brantianum. Absolutely beautiful for a number of reasons, you know, why it's my favorite. First of all, it's very easy care. I just let it dry out and water it just like all these other plants. It has beautiful, beautiful heart-shaped leaves. I mean, but look at the silver on these leaves. Like, clearly that is next level amazing. I have propagated this thing numerous times, and it is just always putting out new growth, new growth, new growth. I've found this to be like one of my fastest growing philodendrons. There's always new growth happening here, and it does enjoy light. So I mean, there's like, look at all this crazy new growth happening. So it's a really happy plant. It has not had a single pest on it. I find that I get like the same effect with the brantianum that like you get with some of these other really popular philodendrons that have the silver on there, but this one is more affordable. It's definitely one of my favorites right now, so I had to give it a little shout out. So next up is this variegated burle marx. I couldn't believe it when I found this one at Cactus Club recently. I love, love, love this plant. It just has beautiful variegation on it. I love, it's very full. It has lots of new growth. We'll see if this one stays in my top plants that are my favorite, because I have heard this plant is very prone to reverting. And I have to say, I've noticed on some of its newer leaves, it doesn't really have much variegation. So I'm gonna continue to give it a lot of light and hope that it keeps that variegation up. But look how big it is. It's beautiful. I love the shape of the leaves. It's, you know, typical to philodendrons. It's easy care. What's not to love with this plant? This next one is going to make a ruckus because you guys are going to be like, absolutely not, Ashley. That is a terrible plant. Why are you choosing it? But if I'm being completely honest, it is one of my favorites right now. So you guys are going to be like, what in the world? It's my calathea zebrina. It's my only calathea that's not giving me a ton of heartache. It's putting out lots of new growth. I've put it through the ringer like all my other plants. I'm inconsistent with watering it, and it does great. It does great. It does great. I just love it, and I love the way it looks. I love the color of the green, that it's so vibrant. I love that the leaves feel like velvet to the touch. I'm obsessed with the pattern on the leaves. I've almost killed this plant numerous times, and it always comes back full force. It shows me so much love. I can't help but appreciate it. That is not the case with like all my other calatheas, but this one is wonderful, and I love it, and it's my favorite, and I don't care what anybody says. And I know they're not uncommon or anything. Like, it's not a fancy, crazy fun plant, but I love it so much. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, calathea zebrina. You're amazing. It's never had a pest. It's never given me any trouble. Like, honestly, it feels bad about this. It's like, I'm sorry, Ashley. I'm trying my best with what you're giving me, but this couldn't be avoided. But yes, I'm gonna be a little brown on some of my old leaves, but look at all this nice new leaves we're gonna give you as, you know, consolation prize. We each have our weird plants that we love. I know calatheas aren't a favorite among most. I totally get it, but I love this plant. Look how pretty it is. Calatheas are so fussy, but this one is my friend. If you saw some of the plants that I chose this one over those, you would be like, Ashley girl, you are crazy. What are you thinking? All the Hoyas, so many philodendrons, some awesome anthuriums. Nope, I'll take my $10 calathea zebrina. All right, so my number one favorite plant, again, this is the first time I have had a number one favorite plant. The one that beat them all out, no question about it, is this beautiful verrucosum. If I had to just have one plant, this would be the plant. It has everything. It has everything I want in a plant. Beautiful, beautiful heart-shaped leaves. It has vibrant lime green with red. It has all the colors you could possibly want. The leaves are velvety, but the stems are next level fuzzy. I'm telling you, the camera is not going to do it justice for how awesome the stems are. So the stems are initially like reddish green, and then they have just this amazing amount of fuzz on there. It makes this my favorite plant. It is a philodendron, which those do awesome for me. So far, it's been easy care. It is a climbing philodendron, which means it's easy to propagate. And not just that, but in the time I've gotten it, it's pumped out this new leaf, and it has another new leaf here because it puts out new growth in the winter time. There's not anything going against this plant for me, besides the fact it's expensive. This plant is everything I ever want in a plant. It's incredible. I love it so much. The love I have for this plant is really ridiculous. It's my favorite. And I've never had a favorite plant before. Philodendron verrucosum, it takes it for me. I wonder what everyone else's favorite plants are. Look at the backside of those leaves. Oh my goodness, I can't. It's so amazing. So big shout out to each and every one of you guys in the plant community. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about these plants and let me know your favorites. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you guys don't miss any videos. I do post a couple times a week, like I said, and look me up on Instagram. I hope you guys have the best day ever, and I will definitely be seeing you soon. Bye.